All right, Jeffrey, how much you got left in the tank, son?
I don't know, Coach. I think I got one more in me.
No, it doesn't sound like it. Ray, take the ball and go, buddy.
All right, here we are. Thanks again for watching the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show. We appreciate you tuning in here. Jeff's not very happy about that right there, but hey, so we appreciate you being a part of today. Ray Halbrook from Livestream STL Media. Wonderful day today here to talk about our brand new show here, DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show. We are going to put a little disclaimer on that. It is the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show, as it says right here, but we will be covering also DIAMONDCAST Softball because we do carry softball this spring, and we're hoping to get together with all of our coaches in the area here, JUCO, high school, JUCO softball as well, and things like that. So, we just wanted to maybe preface on what our plan is with this particular show. And I know Jeff's got a lot to talk about that as well. So I'll
be ready for the next outing.
There you go.
And there will be things I need to get off my chest.
Okay. All right. So I see a Woody's Rants segment coming in. And
thanks, Coach. I was one strikeout away from getting my bonus.
Man, cry me a river.
Folks, stay tuned. We've got plenty to talk about here coming up here in just a little bit here. You're watching the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show on Livestream STL.
Need cash for your cause? Double D's Fundraising delivers big profits in crowd-pleasing frozen pizzas and Otis Spunkmeyer cookie dough. Delicious cheese, loaded meat lovers, zesty buffalo chicken, all the flavors fans crave. We make it super easy to earn profits for your organization. Always freshly made for your order. Call or email Double D's today to start raising money the tasty way at 314-472-8600 or fr@ddpizzeria.com.
At Farmhouse Style, we have all the modern styles and high-quality furniture at wholesale prices. Prices we can't even advertise. So if you're modern or traditional, boho or art deco, save big by making the 20-minute drive down Highway 55 to check out Farmhouse Style.
Welcome back to the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show. Ray Halbrook here from Livestream STL. We have Coach Kyle Huey from the DeSoto Dragons here with us today. We're going to talk a little bit about some DeSoto Dragon baseball here. Coach, how are you doing, sir?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Coach, you had a 14-14 record last season. You took a very good Farmington team to 15 innings before following 3-2 in Class 5 District 1 tournament. You beat Windsor twice, split with Festus, lost over 8 players to graduation, and this is your second season as the coach of the Dragons. So give us a little thoughts on last season.
So as first season as a head coach, I've been part of the program since 2014, though. But, last year we had a great team. Lost, like you said, quite a few players to graduation, a couple really key ones. But this year we have a great senior class returning. We have 8 seniors altogether. 7 of them are returners. We do have a new senior that is new to our program, so he's kind of figuring things out. But it makes it really easy whenever you have that many seniors that have been through your program. They kind of know how things are supposed to operate and really how to handle themselves. So we have a great group.
Excellent.
Well, Coach, how is the overall health of your team right now, getting through practice? Off the air, you mentioned you've been going at least 6 days a week. How is the overall health of the team? And with some of those seniors lost to graduation, where are some of the holes you're trying to plug in the lineup?
Yeah, so injury-wise, we're good. We're healthy that way. I think like every school right now, every program when it comes to the spring, we're dealing with illnesses. We opened up against Arcadia Valley on Thursday and kind of had a short roster because we had a couple guys with the flu and sick, so we were kind of dealing with a skeleton crew for game 1, but we got through it, But health-wise, arm-wise, I think we're pretty good and we're solid right now. Some of those holes we're looking to fill is, we graduated, our left side of the infield with Remy Hogan last year and then Connor Casey. So that's a big one. So we're looking to slide Will Weber, who played second for us, over to the shortstop or back over to the left side to give us some, solid foundation there. But we have some young sophomores that are looking to kind of be a major, role players in this program for this season, along with a couple freshmen that I think are going to be battling it out, come mid-season for some playing time. We have a great group of kids. The sad thing is that we only have 3 juniors right now, so we're going to be relying on those young guys pretty often. So.
Excellent.
Yeah. You lost 2 of the 5 guys that pitched the bulk of your innings last season. Who are some of the guys that you're expecting to step up and take the place of a guy like Hunter Ponce and Brendan Young, either in the rotation or in the bullpen?
Yeah, losing BY and losing Hunter are it's big losses, but we have some guys that are definitely ready to step up. Austin Milton, who threw a lot of innings, in relief for us last year. He's looking to, be kind of one of those starter roles. Actually threw yesterday against Fatima for his first start of the season. I think threw 4 1/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, but threw well. Nate Christopher's another senior that's looking to, fill a gap, where in our rotation, either spot starts here or there, coming out of the bullpen. We really have, we still have Blake Coleman.
Yep.
We still have Connor Heister. So those 2 are, grizzled veterans at this point in time at varsity level baseball.
Yep.
And then again, we have Will Weber. It's another senior who is going to find himself on the bump in the midst of situations. Yesterday in the Fatima game, we won 5-3. Grueling game, and I had Will Weber and Blake Coleman wanting the ball at the end of the game to slam the door, and Will came in, got the hold, and Blake came in and got the save, so we have guys that are ready to fill those voids and are ready to compete for spots in time.
Great.
Coach, obviously for everyone, weather has been an issue here right out of the gate. We know some of the coaches we've talked to at grass fields have had issues trying to get enough time on the field to actually have a real practice, structured practice. You obviously have the benefit, the luxury of having a turf field that you can be on every day of the week. Talk a little bit about that, about the possible early advantage that might give the Dragons coming out of the gate here on the schedule, as opposed to some of the teams you play that are still struggling to get practice time.
Yeah, so it's a huge benefit for us to have that turf facility. Like I said, we've been rolling basically 6 days a week since the start. We've been inside 2 days entirely. One was by choice, just to get a lot of swings in the cage, because the downfall of that facility is it doesn't have a cage for us to use up there. So if we don't hit on the field, we're not hitting that day. But that again, since we've had such a great opportunity to get outside and utilize that facility, it wasn't bad whatsoever to take a day just to swing. But the complex up there that the city has at the Felix Malfeld complex, it's great. There's a lot of space. We're actually able to, when we just work defense, we're able to set up 2 full infields. One in our normal infield, the other one kind of in our right field corner, where we can split our older guys or our younger guys and really get some great reps when it comes to ground balls and infield defensive work. So it's been a huge benefit for us.
Do you guys drive up there? For conditioning, you make them run up the trail?
No, we don't do that. We thought about that.
Lug all the
fans
equipment.
Of it, yeah. Lug all the equipment every single day. No, we don't make them do that. They drive up there, and we've been doing it for 3 years now, and the guys know, hey, you're going to go through town. They know the rule is not to turn on 21. All right, so, but no, that's kind of the threat. If you go on 21, we're walking from now on.
Or if you have a bad game and you're not pleased with the team, you make them walk back to campus, right?
Exactly. We call it the nature trail. So you're going to go for a nature walk. Yeah. So.
Coach, has any of your underclassmen raised an eyebrow with their development or improvement over the season?
Oh, of course, yeah. Owen Wilhoit, who's a sophomore, he's a kid that just works. He doesn't say anything. Getting him to talk is it's a treat at times. But he's a kid that's going to look to get some infield reps, and even stepped out into the outfield the other day to get some reps. So he's one that's kind of battling it out to find time on the field. Game 1, he actually against Arcadia Valley, like I said, we kind of dealt with a skeleton crew. So we had Owen Wilhoit starting at third base, and we had Colin Casey as a freshman starting at second base. So those 2 individuals, being young underclassmen, has showed kind of the maturity and the ability to handle the situation. Colin actually, when I found out that, again, one of our starters was sick, wasn't going to be able to make it, we had to find someone, and kind of he was like the next man up that could be an arm off the bump, who could play infield, who could play outfield as well. Told him Thursday morning, hey, Gonna need you to dress varsity tonight just because we're missing some guys. Didn't tell him at that point that he was going to be starting. Didn't want the nerves going. But he found out pretty quickly when he saw the lineup card and saw his name on it. But those two handled themselves really well, put some great at-bats together in their first varsity game. And then, since we do practice on a natural surface, on a turf surface, Arcadia Valley's natural. So the only ground balls they've taken on a natural surface was the day before when we got down on our campus. So, but again, they handled it real well. They stayed calm, cool, collective. They did exactly what we needed them to do. Those are a couple, sophomore, freshman guys that are looking to compete. We got other guys that are right behind them. Like I said, our junior class is pretty small, so those sophomores we're going to rely on them. Our junior class, Shane Skurlock, he's looking to fill some innings on the bump for us. He's looked real promising in his first couple outings, including the Jamboree. Trey Blair, who's a junior, started really getting some time on varsity last year after our Fredericktown Wood Bat tournament, just hit the ball and didn't stop hitting.
There you go.
He's a catcher by trade, and so we're like, we need to get this guy in the lineup. So he started taking some outfield reps and did a great job for us. So and then Chet Rector as well, another junior, got a little bit of time on the bump last year for the varsity team, but has really started to show growth and maturity, and we're looking for to have a big season for him this year.
Great.
So for DeSoto fans coming to the game this year, in Coach Huey's first year as the head coach, although he's been around the program for quite a long time, if you could say to people, what's going to be our style of play? What are we going to look like as a team? What does that look like to you?
Yeah, so it's I've been asked this question by a couple different people, and they're like, sum it up in one word, and the word that just comes to mind is we're going to be athletic. We're gonna run bases. We're gonna track fly balls down. I've told the story a couple times. I love when my assistant coaches have to get out to the mound in order to plug a gap against our outfielders or get the ball down the line because we're just quick and fast in the outfield. And that just that's something we've been working on for 3 years. Is just to become better athletes. We started hitting it hard off-season workouts 3 years ago, 2 days a week with our strength and conditioning coach, Mike Sobel. He's done an incredible job just not only building these guys athletically, but also building relationships with these guys. And so 6 a.m. twice a week for starting in August, working all the way till May, our guys have been in the weight room working hard. And funny story about that, Levi McCullough, our catcher, senior, hit a home run this past weekend. And as soon as he got into the dugout, he was high-fiving guys, and he says, thanks to Coach Sobel and Coach Robertson, who's our head volleyball coach, because volleyball team's in there working out with us. So Sobel putting them through the ringers, and he joins in on Coach Robertson's ab circuit at the end. So he gave them all the credit for the home run yesterday.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Love it.
Excellent. Well, it's time since you're the new coach here, it's time for the Ray question. And a lot of folks know what this question already is, but and we have not briefed Coach here on this particular question. The question is there something outside of baseball that you do, might be a hobby, something that you just like to do that maybe not everybody knows about? Do you have some sort of hidden thing that you like to do that nobody knows about at all?
Special talent, a stupid human trick or something.
Human trick. I don't know about that. I'm not very talented at a lot of things. Something that people don't know about me. Oh, gosh.
Because inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah,
What do you like to do outside of baseball?
So I'm a big outdoorsman, hunting, fishing, doing that stuff, do that basically whenever I'm not coaching softball in the fall. I'm usually at a buddy's property hunting. I'm actually a pretty big puzzle guy. I like puzzles.
There you go.
Okay. I like mind games, trying to
like
work
putting together a lineup.
Exactly.
Right.
Where can we put things in strategy based?
Right.
And when you're dealing with a skeleton crew like we were Thursday, you really got to get strategic.
Excellent.
With it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll say that Sudoku puzzles or anything that gets the mind going. That's kind of what I like. So
love it.
Excellent. Well, Coach, thanks so much. We appreciate you being here, and good luck to you this season. And I'm sure we'll see you down the road here on live stream STL.TV.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. That's Coach Kyle Huey from the DeSoto Dragons.
meant to do what they do. Devoted, skilled, solving problems before there are problems. Just like the team at Crystal Heating and Cooling. 60 years of teamwork and dedication. To Crystal, you're more than a customer. You're a friend. Top reviews, decades of experience keeping your home safe and comfortable through any weather. And Crystal Care Club with included maintenance and free financing options. For 60 years, Crystal puts their heart into your comfort. Crystal Heating and Cooling.
Well, welcome back to the DiamondCast Baseball Show. We're going to talk about some Windsor Owls baseball here. We've got with us here Coach Randy Green from the Windsor Owls. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you, Ray?
Excellent. And, when we think of Windsor Owl baseball, we think of a lot of just great matchups with Hillsboro, with Festus, with DeSoto. What's your favorite rivalry?
I mean, you kind of touched them all. There's different
Yes.
There's different aspects to each one of them. I think back to my first year as head coach. We ended up tying the conference with DeSoto.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice walk-off win on that one to tie for it, and that was at our place. It was a lot of fun. We've had so many big games with Hillsboro over the years. I remember Derek Williams, throw an old name out there. He had 2 bombs in their field, but I also remember losing to them 1-0 with when Brewer.
Michael Brewer
was still slinging for them. In Festus every year it seems to be a top matchup. Whether we're down, whether they're down, it's just it seems to bring out the best in all of our players. Everybody wants to perform in those games, and that's just Jefferson County baseball.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we talked a little bit beforehand. I want to go over this real quick. 9-20 overall record last season. Lost to Vianney in the Class 5 District 2 tournament, which that's a heck of a draw right there to get Vianney. You guys always get that weird district designation at Windsor, but lost 5 players to graduation, including guys like Nate Nestapari and Cole Scott. And, of course, I've seen Nate do some good work over at Jeffco already this year. This is your 6th season at the helm of the Owls, and we really appreciate you coming in. Ray, why don't you go ahead and take the first question, and we'll just kind of flip around here.
Absolutely. Give us some of the biggest lessons or key takeaways from last season, number one, and that you're carrying forward into this year, preparation approach-wise.
So from last year, we had, obviously we had 5 seniors that were, pretty big components to our team. But we were very young still, even with those 5 seniors. We were forced to start 3 sophomores just out of necessity. We only had 4 juniors last season. So overall, juniors and seniors, we had 9 players. Can't run a baseball team with only
tough.
9. So we had to have some youth, and those guys actually stepped up and they played good parts for us. So those guys now are juniors this year, and they're still going to be big pieces for our puzzle. But now we have 3 seniors, and so it's tough. We're young. We're going to have to play together as a team, come together with some small ball, do the little things right, and hopefully we can get out with some wins. You brought up Vianney. That was definitely a tough draw last year.
Yeah.
That was round 2. Round 1, we played an opponent. We only had 2 hits, but we scored 17 runs. So it didn't really prepare us all that well. Right. But then when we played Vianney, I think we left the stadium, and everybody else that was there to see that game, they knew that we left everything out there. The guys walked out heads high with we lost, but we lost to a really good team, and we gave them all we had, and lost by 3 runs. That's not too bad.
Right.
To the eventual, I think, runner-up, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
That's correct. And, it's certainly guys had no reason not to hold their heads high after that game. And through the season as well, you talked about, some of the challenges in bringing up the youth. And that kind of leads into my next question. With those guys, those sophomores becoming juniors, plus the key components that you lost to graduation, Has the off-season approach been any different as far as strength training, development, commitment from the guys, buy-in compared to maybe some other seasons?
Yeah, I mean, we almost reinvented what we're doing in the off season. The coaches that we have, Coach Weiss, Coach Engelbach, Coach Smargic, Coach Yost, we all got together and we just decided something's got to give. We have to be creative and really try to squeeze as much juice out of the orange as we can, because that's just what we have to do to survive. But yeah, these young guys are definitely, they come in, they want to work, they want to be there, they play well together. So it's altogether a good buy-in, and it's a fun group to be around. Now, again, we have to be creative. We don't have the guy that's going to go to SEMO throwing, upper 80s, and we don't have the Estepare from,
Right.
that's down in Jeffco now.
A D1 Derek Williams.
Yeah, I don't have that guy hitting bombs every other day, so it's and I told the guys, I said, I don't care if anybody hits a home run, hit it in the gap and let's just run. Let's just be creative. But it's the attitude and effort is there, and that's all I can really ask of these guys.
Exactly.
Excellent. Let's talk about the rotation. What is that going to look like this season?
Youth. So my
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah. So my starting rotation will be pretty much 3 juniors.
Okay.
So I've got my son Brody Green, Lincoln Forshee, and Connor Fowler. Those are the 3 guys that are probably going to get to start. But now one of those guys got banged up, so we might have some more youth that has to step up and take some games. Yeah, it's again, it's good to have the youth, but you don't want to throw them to the wolves too fast.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're at now. But those 3 guys will probably get the call on the bump to start our games.
Excellent.
Well, as far as position fielders go, you lost a couple pieces there as well. Who do you foresee coming in and filling some of those slots for the field?
Like I told you when we were talking in the beginning, a lot of our positions are going to be, it could be this guy or this guy. It could be a mix and match depending on who's pitching, because pretty much everybody in our in our lineup is a pitcher in some aspect. So, first base could be, Brody Green or Kason Siegel. Second base could be Lincoln Forshee, Landon Palmer, newcomer Nolan Lawrence. He transferred to us from Melville this year. Or Malachi Boxdorfer. Shortstop could be Lawrence or Forshee. Third base could be Green or Palmer or Lawrence, and then in the outfield you've got 1 or 3 of 5 guys. You've got Connor Fowler, Skylar Johnson, Ethan Shirk, Jet Black, Brody Green. It's going to be a chess game, right?
So if you're keeping a score at a Windsor game the old-fashioned way, you want to make sure you leave plenty of room for substitutions and pitching changes.
You might want to put the putouts and the assist next to the player instead of the position, so it might be easier that way.
Well, the only good thing you look at that is the opportunity. I mean, you look at that, hey, I've got depth.
That we do. We have a lot of guys that can play in different positions, so that is good to have those interchangeable pieces, especially when you've got so many different guys that are going to have to throw.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about what you think a Windsor Owl success would look like this season. You talked about it being young folks, but what is success for you this season?
Just improving on every aspect. When we talk to the guys about this all the time, is when we ask you to try something different or give you different instruction for something, that's just a brick, and then you got to build on that brick, and then build and build and build. So I don't know that anybody is really expecting us to go make noise in a state playoff, but as long as we can fight together and keep building on those little things, it's going to be fantastic for us in the long run.
Excellent.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got a very busy schedule right now. We couldn't be more excited to get this ball rolling and see some Windsor Owl baseball this year. We thank you very much for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Coach Randy Green from the Windsor Owls.
Nice job, Raymond. I knew you could do it, buddy. Took us home, took care of it all. Nice job, young man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The arm feels good still here, and we appreciate everybody watching tonight's episode of the DiamondCast Baseball Show. Don't forget to check out all of our great content on our broadcasts here on livestream.stl.tv and our Roku app there. Download the Roku app. Just search Livestream STL on Roku. You can watch everything we have out there for free. For all of us here at the DiamondCast Baseball Show, so long. We'll see you next time.
Keep that chicken wing loosened up. We may need you next week.
Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.